All right, 2 minutes, 15 seconds to go. A lot of things on tap for Flight 11. Planned to be the last launch of this version. Once again, we're really focused on getting ship over to reentry. Once we get to that phase, we're going to dive in. There's a lot of exciting stuff that's going to be happening on our way back through and down to the ground, hopefully. Minute 45. Should hopefully be seeing. There's a quick wiggle check. Checking out the thrust vector control, the steering on the booster. We use those inner 13 engines. Doing their one final dance before the big show. And we'll do that one more time after we cross that T-minus 40 gate. Alright, range continues to be green. Still not tracking any issues on vehicle or pad. 1 minute to go. As a reminder, we can hold at T-minus 40. We're not planning to. All right. We're through T-minus 40. Let's listen in. Flight Director Ty Huntington back in the seat. Take us through the final
Flight Directors, go for launch. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Thanks for all the historic flights, Pad 1.
Vehicles pitching downrange. Booster Raptor chamber pressure nominal.
Booster and ship, nominal power and telemetry.
All right, we are about 45 seconds into flight. We're still getting the rattle here. We are seeing 33 out of 33 Raptor engines lit on Super Heavy as it arcs. Coming up next on Max Q.
Max Q.
So at this point, we've passed through that period of maximum aerodynamic pressure. The next thing we're looking forward to is going to be hot staging. So we've got 33 out of 33 Raptors lit. Super Heavy makes its way uphill. Hot staging is going to be coming up. See the engines throttling down.
Booster engine cut off.
Ship ignition. Stage separation. Use back burn startup.
All right, successful hot staging maneuver. So we've got 12 of the 13 engines lit back up on boosters, so it's doing its boost back. Real excitingly,
Ship
though,
chamber
we've
pressure's
got 6
nominal.
out of 6 Raptors lit on ship there, so it's now going to continue to make its ascent into outer space. Meanwhile, this boost back is happening. We're using those 13 engines, so everything, well, 12 out of the 13, and then we go down to 3, and then we're going to shut down for the end of boost back. That's sending super heavy back towards its planned splashdown zone.
Use back
That
burn
we're doing this is... All right, there's the end of the boost back burn. In the meantime, though, these 6 ship Raptors are going to continue firing for about 5 more minutes. Next up for the booster, though, is going to be its landing burn. There's a cool tracking shot. We dump some of the prop out on our way back in. All right, so for booster, this is one of the main things we're trying to get is going to be this landing burn. Oh, that's so you can see the hot stage kind of making its way towards the left side. So that's the bottom of the booster. It's about to pass right in front of where you can see some of that prop dump happening. They look like they're close together, but there's a good amount of distance between them, and the hot stage will go down and splash down. All right, looking good on our trajectory, looking good on everything. Jake and Amanda, you guys with me down there?
Yeah, definitely. The crowd is gathering over here in the office. You can definitely feel the energy in here. Great to see that booster is making its way down to the splashdown zone.
Yeah, the shaking down here was absolutely nuts. The windows are still there, still intact. So that was pretty awesome. But yeah, booster's coming down. We're at about 30 kilometers. All right, yeah, and as we approach that landing, just like tower catches, we will be doing a 13-engine landing burn to slow down. This time it will be in a V3 configuration. And as we're starting to get into the denser part of the atmosphere, the booster is using 4 hypersonic grid fins to guide itself through atmospheric entry towards its landing site.
And we're just
Ship
about
chamber
20
pressure's
seconds away
nominal.
from landing burn start, where we'll first ignite the center 13 engines, then bring that down to 5 to slow down the booster for landing. And finally, that will come down to 3, and we'll cut all of them off while we're still about 200 meters in the air. So booster is going to see a bit of a harder thing.
Booster landing burn startup. Booster landing burn shutdown.
And there we heard it. Booster landing burn shutdown. We saw a 13 to 5 to 3 V3 demonstration. And into the water we go. Wow, that was absolutely awesome. If you can even hear us right now, congrats to the whole team. So far, so good for today. That was incredible.
All right, great stuff, guys. I'm jealous of the crowd. All right, back to ship. Ship's still making its way. We've got a little under 2 minutes left in this ascent burn, so we've got all 6 Raptor engines still firing. So the next major milestone we're going to be looking for is SECO. That's our second stage engine cutoff. That's should be coming right at about 8 minutes and 58 seconds into flight. All right, all ship Raptors have shut
Nominal
down.
orbit insertion.
You just heard nominal orbital insertion, so we are on the path that we wanted to be. So we've got a ship back in space, a whole lot planned for it, lots more still to come. Great seeing Super Heavy make its way to the water, but I'm excited to see what ship can do in space. How's everybody doing down there?
Yeah, if you could hear the crowd behind us this whole time, people are definitely happy with how the day's been panning out so far. Definitely exciting to see ship safely in space, and super pumped to see all the team's hard work in action here today.
Yeah, and we guaranteed it at the start of the show, but it has been an awesome day so far. It's crazy. All this has happened in just 10 minutes. All the objectives were met on the booster, including that V3 style landing burn. So now all eyes are on the ship as we get ready for our in-space objectives. But we've got a few minutes until that next milestone, so sit tight, enjoy the views, enjoy the space jams. We'll be back at T plus 16 minutes for payload deploy.
right, welcome back, everybody. If you're just now joining us, where the heck were you? But we are getting ready for payload deploy. That's going to start once we get the payload door open. That should be happening, or at least starting, within the next minute or so. It's been a really cool flight so far. Quick look inside the payload. We've got 8 Starlink simulators getting ready to make their way into outer space. But great flight so far. Booster able to make it all the way to its splashdown and landing burn experiment, so that was really exciting to see. We got ship on orbit, nominal orbital insertion, so right on the money with its trajectory. And now we're ready to start tackling a couple of in-space objectives. So next up, we are currently venting down the nose cone, essentially the payload area, as we get ready to open up this payload door. We were able to do this successfully for the very first time on our last flight, on Flight 10. Oop. Hal got ahead of me. Looks like he's opening up the payload door already. All right, looks like we got the door open. All right, so payload door is open. Next up, going to be to start deploying these Starlink simulators. They are roughly the same size as the V3 Starlink satellites. That's going to add some pretty crazy capacity. We'll run through the numbers in a little bit. We were able to do this for the very first time ever on our last flight, and so this will be another test. We made a couple of tweaks to the rails for deploying this based off of what we saw last time, but excited to see these get out the door. I mean, that view on your left, so you're basically, that would be if you were sitting at the very top of the nose cone looking down. So there's kind of a short stack. There's 4 on either side, so 8 total. When we start flying Starlinks, for their actual deploy missions, we're going to be carrying stacks of about 60. So much larger stack once we start flying these operationally, but still doing a little bit of a short just for this payload deployed today.
Looks like we got a little bit of movement there, Dan.
Coax it out. Get it moving, Jake.
There we go. All right, first one going out. All right, first one's deployed. Getting ready for the second one here. We do a little reset back to the center position.
Yeah, it takes about a minute for each one.
Looks real smooth too. They made a couple of tweaks to those rails. If you watched the last ones, it had a couple of bumps on the way out, but moving out super clean this time. And I mean, we're using Starlink to bring all of this together. It's our drone shots you see here from our great team down here, all connected. So Starlink not only giving us cool views off the planet, but also on the planet, help bring everybody along for all these flights. I think that's number 4. Somebody check my math. Yeah, we've got 4 Starlink terminals on the outside. It uses that to talk to the constellation. And through that, we actually get about 120 megabits of bandwidth for our downlink. That's our real-time HD video, all of our telemetry. So it's not just kind of giving us these cool views inside, but it's giving all that engineering data in real time, including re-entry when normally a plasma layer builds up and blocks you out. Starlink, powerful enough of a frequency that we're able to kind of punch through that and still get that live view. All right, next one out the door. There we go.
All right, yeah, Starlink is the world's largest satellite constellation operating in low Earth orbit to deliver high-speed, low-latency broadband internet. This provides internet access to people around the world, many of who have never had connectivity before. Oh.
Yeah, and one thing to note about the satellite deploy is that they will be following the same suborbital trajectory of the ship. So these dummy sats will not be going in orbit. We do expect them to burn up on re-entry.
All right, couple more to go. I promise one of these days we'll deploy in daylight. But we're basically trading deploy in the dark so we get those re-entry views for the daytime. All right, I think we got one more to go.
All right, now with payload deploy complete, ship will now close its payload door and continue to coast around Earth to the ocean. We still have a ton of major events to come today, including Raptor relight at about T plus 37 minutes. That will be followed by atmospheric reentry and splashdown. So with that, we're going to go on another quick coast.
Yeah, if you can hear us.
All right, with that payload door closed, we're going to sit tight, enjoy the views, and enjoy the space jams. Again, we'll be back in just a few minutes for Raptor relight and then head back for reentry. right, welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us, you did miss some exciting stuff. The ship successfully deployed its second ever payload, 8 Starlink simulator satellites. And now we're expecting the relight of a single sea-level Raptor engine in space coming up here just after T plus 37 minutes. So about a minute left to go.
Yep, just a little while. I think we're tracking to 37 in around 49 seconds or so. So we should be just about a minute and a half. We're, again, as Amanda just said, we're going to relight one of those center engines. This will be the third time that we've tried this. We did it successfully back on Flight 10, and then we did it for the very first time back on Flight 6. This is not a deorbit burn. This is demonstrating essentially all of the systems you would need to do a deorbit burn. So that's obviously your Raptor engine, and then also your header tanks, your smaller tanks in the nose cone, where we have liquid oxygen, liquid methane in a smaller, more easily pressurized container, which we can use for on-orbit burns. And we're also going to tap into those when we do our landing burn. So this will be a critical capability once we go to full orbital missions. You'll have to do a deorbit burn to break out of orbit, send it back down to Earth. But in this instance, we're already on our way back down towards Earth. So this is just going to demonstrate the capability of turning one of these engines on. We should be coming up in just about 20 seconds or so, looking for one of those Raptor engines to turn back on. They've been off since we completed that successful ascent burn almost 30 minutes ago. Here we go.
Oh, Raptor ignition. And shutdown.
All right, there was that Raptor relight. Looks like engine 3 full duration. As Dan mentioned, that's a third attempt, and we just did it 3 times in a row. So congrats to the team, the ship team, Raptor team. And then there we heard nominal second orbital insertion. All right, so congrats everyone on the milestone. That was awesome to see. We're 3 for 3. We're gonna take another break, and we'll be back for re-entry at about T plus 45 minutes. We'll see you soon.
Ship is slewing for entry. Starship is approaching entry interface.
Ship is starting entry, good attitude.
All right, welcome back, everyone. The ship is currently re-entering Earth's atmosphere. As a reminder, we don't plan to recover the spacecraft today, but rapid and reliable reusability is the ultimate goal.
Yeah, the light show has already begun. You can see plasma starting to build on the windward side of the rocket there. And, re-entry is a critical phase of flight, and we need information on how the ship systems perform. Re-entry is also extremely demanding portion of flight because we need the ship to scrub off all of the energy we used to launch the rocket. So remember the 33 engines plus the 6 engines on ship that we used to get up into space, we now are using aerobraking essentially to scrub off all that energy. And of course, Starlink is a big part of this, giving us the views we have right now, and also letting us gather as much data as possible, which again is really the main reason why we do these flights. And the view we have right now is actually a really good example. As we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, we have some tiles on the leeward side of the flaps here, and we have some different mechanisms, some stud out, basically to see if these tiles will hang on. And we can see already here, it looks like we kept most of them, but I think I see a couple there that are no longer there. So the thermal team is definitely going to be digging into that and taking that data to help us iterate on V3. Okay, there's a great shot there. You're starting to see the plasma build up. So we will hear a call out when the ship is transonic and then subsonic.
Yeah, we're looking good. I do want to remind people that we are pushing ship to the limits. We've done a lot of these missing tile tests. We did it back on Flight 10. every time we do it, we throw something new and the ship makes it through. This time, we're really pushing it. We've removed these tiles in some of the spots that see the highest level of heating. And we remove tiles that have zero backup protection underneath. So there's essentially just bare steel. It's one of the heat of re-entry. And as a reminder, in addition to these missing tile tests, we're doing kind of a unique flight on the way in. It's going to do what we call a banking maneuver. So while we're still going supersonic and even hypersonic, we're doing kind of a banking turn. And then we'll do a pretty aggressive turn right as we get into the subsonic and start doing our belly flop. And that's designed to essentially be the approach that we would do on a return to launch site, though. Don't be surprised if we see the ship start to turn and make a few maneuvers as it makes its way down to the Indian. And fun fact, even though we're doing all this turning, we're essentially targeting the exact same spot this time. Our landing burn should happen right around an hour and 6 minutes after launch, so we should be just about 6 minutes away from that. You can see lots of daylight. Everybody cross your fingers, see if our range team is able to get out there and provide any surprise views as the ship makes its way down. Oh, it's like they heard me. Ready and waiting, let's go.
Dan, you just spoke that view into existence there. And again, all brought to us by
RTS banking
Starlink.
maneuver has started.
All right, there we go. So we're now starting into our really heavy bank maneuver. Again, this does almost like a half circle loop to our actual trajectory. We're heading to the same exact splashdown point, but we're kind of doing a more roundabout way to get there, where it's this kind of big, long half moon loop and then a really aggressive kind of twist right at the very end. And that would line us up with the launch tower.
How about that S-38 decal there, staying strong on that view we just had?
Good to see the numbers back on.
Yeah.
We changed our launch times. We launch in the evening now, so we get these daytime views down in the Indian Ocean. One of the things we're really looking for, the reason we have the drone, other than, yeah, that looks really cool, is we're able to kind of see the ship. We can only see so much from these cameras. You can't see like the vast majority of the heat shield. So we throw these buoys out there. We've got there's...
You spoke it again, Dan. There it is.
They're playing with me in the control room. All right. But we have these buoys out there. We have these drones that we're trying to see externally how the heat shield held up.
Transonic, starting the belly flop phase of flight.
Yep, that belly flop phase that we perfected in the suborbital campaigns, we're entering that now.
Right, starting to get those Raptors ready. Should be 2 minutes away from landing burn. Again, we're going to do a flip. After we ignite those engines, we'll go from 3 down to 2 for the final phase of the landing burn and look for another soft splashdown, hopefully by our buoy and drone, which are hanging out, ready and waiting for a ship.
Seeing all 3 center engines have entered the chill phase.
All right, less than a minute to go.
Seeing all 3 center engines have entered the chill phase.
All right, less than a minute to go.
Seeing all 3 center engines have entered the chill phase.
All right, less than a minute to go.
The ship is making its turn for final approach.
Ship landing startup.
There's our landing burn. Three down to 2.
Ship has landed.
As we said, we're not planning on recovering the ship today. Hey, welcome back to Earth. What a day.
What a flight.
Oh. All right. Welcome back to Earth, ship. What a day. A whole lot more to go through. As you just saw, everybody here is pretty hyped. Hey, Tyler, how's everybody holding up?
Thank you, Dan. We had a fantastic time watching. It was another exciting flight test in the books, and we hope that you enjoyed those Starlink views too. So congratulations to the team and everyone here and around the company. So many employees contribute to this program as we continue to iterate and make progress towards a multi-planetary future. So that wraps it up for us here. Thank you for tuning in, and back to you guys.
Yeah, what an incredible launch today. We had Successful liftoff. Booster completed its objective, successfully splashed down. Obviously, we saw another amazing Starlink deploy as well from ship.
Yeah, we made it through that re-entry, testing all the different experience. We had missing tiles, gave us quite the light show. We had that Raptor relight, 3 for 3. That was ahead of re-entry, of course. And then that awesome splashdown that we just saw, including that dynamic banking maneuver to simulate RTLS when we return to the launch site.
All right, I will take us out. Hey, congrats, Jake and Amanda. You guys did amazing. Great job. All right, today we launched the world's biggest rocket, knocked out all of our objectives. Shout outs to every single person who made this look easy. Thank you to everybody tuning in. We're going to see you back here for the very first flight of our next generations. So we'll see you then. Good night.